You know, I've been reading the Old Testament again, and it's been years since I've done so. And I got to the book of Deuteronomy, specifically chapter 5, verse 6 through 22, somewhere around there. And it reminded me of the book of Exodus. Well, the book of Exodus to me is a very important book. And what's got me thinking about a lot of this is that with everything that's going on in society today, that I think people have lost touch with what they're supposed to be and who they're supposed to be and where they're supposed to be. So I flipped back to the book of Exodus and I opened up chapter 20. And I'm going to read this to you, and then we're going to skip to Deuteronomy because I want you to see the correlation here. And this is in the book of Exodus. This is where Moses was up on Mount Sinai communicating with God, and this is very important in the Bible. I don't even know why I'm telling you this because you should know it, but everybody does it, and for some reason I'm called to tell you this. So you can turn open right now, and this is the King James Version. You can turn to Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 was where we're going to start. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. He took the Israelites out, and he commanded Moses and Aaron, and he got them out of there. So the first thing he tells Moses here, before he puts them on these tablets, I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now think about that for a minute. This is really deep stuff. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, if you have statues or whatever it may be that you idol and you don't believe in the Lord the God, you better really heed this warning because he will take you out. We're going to move on to verse, let's see where we're at here. Verse 4, chapter 20, verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Now we can break that down, but I think it's pretty self explanatory. You look in the Leviticus 26 1, and it kind of correlates with that, but we're not going to go there because I don't have time. I have time, but YouTube time. So thank you for being patient with me. Chapter 20, verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Lord, I am the Lord thy God, and I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now, first of all, what we find here is why do people hate God? Well, they're human. They question everything. And honestly, they should already know because he brought them away from the Pharaoh in Egypt. He took the Israelites out, uh, and he gave Pharaoh the signs, and Pharaoh wouldn't let him go. But finally, ultimately, Pharaoh let him go, and God had already proven this to the Israelites, but they still questioned him. Now, how often do you question yourself? How often do you question who you are, how you feel, what you do? Do you question it in such a way it makes you feel guilty? Do you question it in a way that maybe you want to change? But the first change you should make, and I'm telling you right now, is this. This right here is the first change you should make. Because if you revisit it and you start from the beginning. And I try to really take care of my Bible because it's very, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So we're going to get a little off topic there, but it's getting back to saying if you question yourself, that maybe you shouldn't question yourself. Go back to Scripture, and you'll find what you're looking for. But where was I at here? I'm looking. Oh, okay, here we go. Chapter 20, verse 6. And showing mercy unto 1,000 of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. How often do you hear people taking the name of the Lord in vain? Out of just they're mad. They're mad. Call his name out in vain. It's going to help something. It's a powerful word. God is a very powerful word. But to take it in vain, it says right here in the Bible, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain." Now think about that for a minute. Think about it. 2 seconds. Then go to verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. The Sabbath day. Now we can go back to Exodus 31:13 through 14, and it'll talk about the Sabbath day because it correlates to what we're talking about here. We're in Exodus right now. But I was trying to get to Deuteronomy, but I don't know if that's going to happen today. We'll see. Um, so you can look at Exodus 31:13 through 14. Number 9 is going to be the 6 days shall thou labor and do thy work. But on the seventh day is the Sabbath day of the Lord. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, thy stranger that is within thy gates. So on the seventh day you're supposed to rest. Now, given that this is thousands of years ago, But what is a seventh day? Well, originally it wasn't Sunday. Sunday's the first day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So Saturday is actually your seventh day when you're supposed to rest. But we have taken it to where we're doing Sunday for church, and I understand things are different than they were 2000 something years ago. So, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day, wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. We kind of went around that a little bit. I don't want to get off too far out there because this could be 6 hours or 8 hours long if I keep going. So we're going to go. The next commandment would be honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. God gave us this land. You do not want to forsake your mother and father. You need to honor them and respect them because they give you life, just like God gave it all of us life. Thou shalt not kill. That should be a given. That should be a given. You don't go kill somebody. I don't like you, so I'm going to kill you. That's an unforgivable sin. All of these are unforgivable sins. Thou shalt not commit adultery. I don't know how many times this happens in the world. I'm sure it's often or more often than not. If you're one of these people, you need to get on your knees today and ask God to forgive you because it's unforgivable, but He would forgive you. Drop on your knees and cry and ask Him, God, forgive me for I've sinned. Thou shalt not steal. No, we shouldn't steal. You ask somebody. If they're willing to give it to you, that's great, but you don't go take it from them. And everybody out there, or maybe that sees this video one day, and you're out there thieving from people that works hard for what they got, and you're stealing from them, why don't you just walk up to the door and ask them, say, hey, I really need this. Can I have it? They might tell you no. But just because they tell you no doesn't mean you should steal it. Maybe they can't afford to give it to you. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. You know what's funny is originally this started out about Deuteronomy, but we're back in Exodus, so we'll just go with it. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Now think about what that means. False witness. I'm gonna let you think about this. Because if I go into each one of these, we're gonna be here all day. But I want you to think about that. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And that is in Exodus 20, verse 16. 17. Verse 17, chapter 20, Exodus. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Now, what do we think about that? Don't covet any. Don't covet any of that. That would be, well, I'm not sure how to explain it because it's common sense, and to explain common sense, to maybe somebody that doesn't understand common sense is very difficult. But that's common sense. So let's go on to verse 18. And the people saw the thunderings and the lightning and the noise and the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. You know, you can go on and on. It literally takes a long time to read the Bible. You can make notes like I do. You can try to speed read through it, but there's no speed reading, especially if you're reading the King James version. They've retranslated this. This is probably, even the King James version is probably the sixth or seventh translation of the original Hebrew and such scriptures. But it's my personal Bible, and it's the one I like to read. We're going to get at Deuteronomy and see the correlation here, so I can cut this video down because it's probably getting a little bit long. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verses 6 through 22, or we could even go verses 7 through 21, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to skip down here to verses 6. And this is basically Moses reciprocating to the Israelites what he heard on Mount Sinai. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. Now, does that not correlate with what we just read in Exodus? It's the same thing. He's just reciprocating the words of God to the people again. Because for some reason people can't understand this and get it through their thick skulls. This is what's going on. Thou shalt have none other gods before me. We went over this. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that's in heaven above, or that's in the earth beneath, or that's in the waters beneath the earth. We just went over this. We didn't deep dive into some of it. We could do another video on it. Thou shalt not bow down before thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord thy God, and am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and to the third and the fourth generations of them that hate me. They hate him. Do you see how Deuteronomy corresponds with Exodus? And showing mercy unto the thousand of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless and that taketh his name in vain. Where does that put you? Where do you stand? Have you taken his name in vain? I have. I have. Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded it. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day, and we just discussed this, the actual seventh day would be the sixth day, but we'll go on. For the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, thine ass, or any cattle, or any stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. That's you. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy God brought thee out of thence through the mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore the Lord thy God commanded the people to keep the Sabbath day. Now this is Moses speaking to the Israelites. Honor thy father and thy mother. Went over this in Exodus. And it sounds like it's repetitive. It is. He wants to make sure he gets the word through to you. You, the viewer. Honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that in it go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. It's all right here in this book. It's right here in this book. All you got to do is read it. Thou shalt not kill. That's a given. At least in my book, it is. Don't kill people. Neither shalt thou commit adultery. I'm getting tongue tied because I'm thinking about Exodus while I'm reading Deuteronomy. This is what happens. Neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife. Neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his ass, or anything that's thy neighbor's. It's a sin. It says right here in the book, it's a sin. Quit and ask for forgiveness. These words the Lord spake unto all your assembly in the mount of the midst of the fire and of the cloud and of the thick darkness with a great voice. And he added more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone, or we call them tablets, whatever you want to say, and delivered them unto me, which is Moses. I'm going to stop there because this can go on forever. I wanted to convey some of this scripture because I've been reading every day, or no, I can't say every day. Sometimes I have to take a break mentally because I got to stop and understand and grasp what's going on, because I want to lay my eyes on every word in this Bible again. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a confirmed Lutheran. Yes, I am a Lutheran. And I want to tell you, I've sinned. You see that? Do you see it? I've made mistakes, but I've asked God for forgiveness. So, that being said, like one final note, I guess, before I get out of here, and I'd like to ask everybody to please use your heads and have faith and believe in what's right, and don't get aboard of all this on all this social media and all this media that you see on the TV and this. Go back to the book, because this will tell you what you need to do. Not the media, not our president, not anybody. And if you want to write, you need to read this book, because there's instruction in this Bible, and that Bible's there for you. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you for watching another Adventure with Woody channel. Please make sure you poke the like, subscribe, notification button. I know this isn't really a religious channel, but it very well could go that way. I just want to get this word out a little bit. And I love everybody. And thank you so much for subscribing. And thank you so much for watching. But it does help if you'll push a like, subscribe, notification button. Thank you, and God bless you.